Ranked play...
Yeah, we're still aiming for end of month.
...is not in this update.
So the whole stuff happened. Stuff happened, and then it's like, well, I'm already so focused on infrastructure that I have this huge backlog of infrastructure tasks that I really need to do. It's backlog until it's not, because we ran out of disk space on the main database or something. So, sometimes the forward progress is just keeping things running. That's just how it goes.
The only infrastructure change that players might actually encounter is how scores are saved in Osu's database. On Stable, the top score per mod combination is saved, but previously on Lazer, every passing score was saved. That wasn't really sustainable, so now Lazer follows the same logic as Stable. It's also worth noting that Lazer and Stable scores will not override each other, even if they use the same mod combinations, and pinning a score to your profile will keep it around no matter what. Oh, and your profile now shows your most watched replays. Pretty cool. But we're getting off track. This is a Lazer update video. Even if ranked play isn't here yet, progress is still being made in other areas, like Song Select V2 and multiplayer. I'm guessing that's like the biggest change this update. And I saw you deleted like the entirety of Song Select V1 from the code base.
Yeah, minus 13,000 lines of code PR. That was the most satisfying thing to do. It's the kind of thing like, Song Select V2 has been out for almost a year now, I think. And leaving the previous code in place has implications just when you're working on a code base and there's 2 copies of everything basically. It can get a bit confusing. So it is good to finally, put the nail in the coffin.
You'll also notice that the settings panel has a new design. Similar to the progressive rollout of Song Select V2, this new style was already implemented in the editor and is slowly being applied throughout the rest of Lazer.
The best part about this as a user is that you can now type in numbers everywhere that you had to previously use slider bars. The design is going to take some getting used to. We've already gone through multiple Tachyon user feedback rounds, and I think we got it in a pretty good place.
If you've ever looked at Lazer's dashboard, you've probably realized how useless the currently online tab is. Before today's update, it felt like a random list of users, but now there are proper sort and view options. Let's talk about keyboard shortcuts. You might already know about the shortcut to select a random skin, Ctrl-Shift-R. Today's update adds 2 related shortcuts, Ctrl-Shift-E and Ctrl-Shift-T, which select the previous and next skins in your list. This shortcut is obviously for convenience, so of course it works during gameplay too. Over in Song Select, the page up and page down keys now select maps instead of only scrolling to them. This makes a big difference if you're navigating keyboard only. Then on the mods page, these mod customization sliders now move at the smallest interval when using arrow keys. This was broken on quite a few mods, you can read them here if you want. And custom mod presets now have their own shortcuts.
Now each preset gets a number assigned to it. When you hit that number, you will select it. Note that you need to be in the mode, which isn't the search mode. I think by default, you have to hit tab first to change focus away from the search bar. But there is a setting to make that the default if that's what you prefer.
This is OS gameplay with the Traceable mod, which in this update was moved from the Fun section to Difficulty Increase.
Every mod we've added in Lazer has been added to the fun category, even if it does very obviously increase difficulty. And the reasoning for that was that everything in difficulty increase was basically a stable mod. Everyone knows what it is, and it's got a heavy difficulty modifier. None of the new fun mods really had this level of thought put into them yet, but Traceable was recently added as an adjustment in the PP algorithm. It's kind of becoming a popular mod within the user base, so we did move it there. And I think we'll continue to move mods based on those criteria. It's just going to be like, when it's ready, we will, kind of thing.
2 mod combinations are also incompatible as of this update. Difficulty Adjust plus Target Practice, and Hidden plus Freeze Frame.
That was just from them actually having bugs when you applied them together. It's the kind of thing where people are like, well, we can just fix the bug by doing this crazy stuff. Well, we could, but as a starting point, let's just turn off support for them. There's always the one person that cries out being like, this is my favorite mod combination. And I pulled up the stats. There's 11 people playing it out of a community of 1 million. How much time should we be spending on this?
The Easy mod also had a Lazer-specific bug. Changing skins would reset the amount of lives you had, so you could technically pass maps without clicking any objects. And the Nightcore mod apparently had multiple bugs, the most noteworthy being how the Nightcore beat would just disappear if you paused the map. By now, you've likely recognized how complicated creating a seemingly simple circle clicking simulator can be, but I think one feature in today's update perfectly shows just how ridiculous this can get. Ranked score. Seems straightforward enough. The highest score you set on a ranked map is added to your ranked score, but what actually is this green number?
Someone basically emailed me saying, like, how does ranked score work between stable and laser? I'm like, oh my god, this is actually a very convoluted situation. You know, when you set a score on laser, you're usually looking at the score as a standardized score, but in the background it's being calculated as a classic score, and that's being used for the ranked score, which is then being compared with the stable score if you set a score on stable for the same beat map. But the stable score is also converted to a classic score when it gets brought into the new table. So you've got these two scores which are not visible anywhere being used to calculate a difference for the ranked score. I'm like, yeah, I can't explain this.
All of that is context as to why this message was added. Now you know. Luckily, not everything is that complicated. Here are some of the more simple changes in today's update. The legacy key counter now works with score entry skin elements, which basically allows custom fonts. The star rating gradient now applies to the difficulty filter bar past 8 stars. You can no longer apply tags to maps if they were played with a conversion mod. The editor's hit sound importer now remembers which folder you were last in. This is actually a game changer if you're importing a lot of hit sounds at once, since previously you would need to navigate to the right folder each time. And bookmarks now stay in place when creating a new difficulty from scratch.
I guess it does make sense if you've got bookmarks and they are kind of denoting where you're doing various things in the song you want to have them when you create a new difficulty.
That was how Stable did it too, right?
It did, yeah. That's why it's here. It's always great when Stable does something some way. We don't need to rationalize it. There's no discussion to be had.
I really don't have a good transition for this one. Multiplayer in Lazer has been broken for about 383,000 players until today's update. That wasn't exactly Osu's fault, though.
Due to Russian government-level firewall blocks, a lot of users were not able to properly play Lazer, as in they couldn't spectate other users and they couldn't play multiplayer, and that was because a certain domain on our website was being blocked. So we've worked around that by just moving the domain to a subdomain of the main osu.ppy.sh, and that seems to be working well.
Historically, tournament support has been one of the lowest priorities for Lazer development, which made sense. Most tournament players preferred Stable anyways, so there hasn't been much demand for Lazer to support tournaments. That's been changing in recent years though. More players are on Lazer now, and massive tournaments like Lazer Grand Arena and this year's Roundtable Open are both hosted in the new client. So the tides have shifted, and developers set up a new way for tournament referees to externally control multiplayer lobbies.
This is the kind of feature which most users won't see, but it's one of the foundation blocks that we need to get tournament play in a good place on Lazer. It lets people run tournaments and use their automated toolchain that they've created over all these years.
If you know what those words mean, you can read the API documentation and migrate your tournaments to Lazer. Okay, I know ranked play isn't ready for this update, but I'm thinking it might be fun to give a public demo of what exists of ranked play so far. Like the teaser we did a quick play before that actually got announced.
We're showing it to the public before the stakeholders of the system.
I guess, with the caveat that it's still work in progress. Do you think we shouldn't?
I'm fine. Let's do it.
I'm getting mixed messages here, but I'm gonna press play.
I have mixed messages in my brain.
Well, this is already way more intense than I was expecting. Oh, maybe not. Every map is way below my skill level.
I was going to say it's because you're playing with me, but it's also because we're on the dev server and we don't have any account history.
These are your cards, all right?
Wait, you can see my hand now, can't you?
Yep, well, the back sides of them.
The cards are supposed to have a back to them, not just a grey backgrounds. The songs are supposed to play previews when you hover them. So there's a few things yet to do. But yeah, I think it's my choice, my pick.
Oh, it shows the whole song select chunk.
This is amazing. I'm playing with keyboard. My tablet just isn't working because it's probably disabled in settings.
Wait, when you say you're playing with keyboard, do you mean you're aiming with keyboard too?
Yeah. Oh, and the animation's missing. This whole results screen is getting replaced, so don't get too used to it.
Okay, pick in a map.
Make sure you beat me here because that will cause the game to end.
Make sure, yeah. I think I'll be okay. Victory! That's probably good enough for a teaser. It's hard to get a lot out of this when every map is 1 star and there's going to be a bunch of changes between now and the actual release. But ranked play is planned for the next release, right?
If it's not the next video, then something's gone very wrong. But stuff went very wrong this video, so whatever.